I said half in advance. I meant spending money. Not this.
Would you prefer I contact someone else, Mr. Reardon? Well?
He'll be on a slab before dark tomorrow. Look, I know it ain't no business of mine, but what do you got against Hollister?
Nothing at all. I hardly know the man. I merely wanted to find out what would happen if two such men as you and Sheriff Hollister met on even terms.
You saying you want me to call him out gun to gun?
Well, I'm not paying you $500 to shoot him in the back. As a matter of fact, you're missing a golden opportunity. I saw him downstairs in the lobby just now.
You're loco, Plum, dog loco.
Well, that's the way it has to be, face to face. You do want the other half of that bill, don't you?
You want that kind of shootout, you do it yourself. Come to think of it, I don't have to shoot nobody for the other half of this bill. Unless it's you.
I underestimated you, Mr. Reardon. Of course, I'll pay you. So I'm glad you came, Sheriff. I think I killed him.
All right, get back to your rooms.
He is dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dead. Maybe you better tell me what happened.
Well, he forced his way into my room at gunpoint and tried to rob me. I had to do it. Poor fellow.
Well, this poor fellow just happens to be Deke Reardon, a known killer. Could be you've done the territory a favor. Good heavens.
Tombstone Territory. An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Doesn't look counterfeit.
Might as well be. It's not worth a nickel without the missing half. Just a piece of paper. Unless Reardon knew that he was going to get the rest of the bill.
Well, it's too late now. Just goes to prove you can't take it with you.
Harris, what do you know about Armbruster?
One of Europe's foremost journalists. Now here to do a series of articles on the American frontier. Well, you know all that. What's bothering you, Clay? Why all the questions?
Something just doesn't sit right. Reardon wasn't a thief. He was a hired gun, a professional killer.
Are you suggesting he wanted to kill Armbruster?
Could be.
Well, I've heard some wild-haired things in my day, but this one tops the list. Your own words prove you're wrong. You said that Reardon was a hired gun, right?
Right.
Well, a hired killer has to be hired. Whoever does the hiring usually has a reason for wanting somebody killed. Now, who would want to have Armbruster killed?
Whoever has the other part of this.
And the reason? Whoever this mysterious somebody is, he must have some reason.
Well, one of my customers.
All right. That judge said I was supposed to hang, Sheriff, not starve to death.
All right, anything special you want?
Yeah, a hacksaw and a gun.
Will you settle for a steak? Chicken?
Fried chicken?
Fried chicken.
Harlan?
Yeah, he's hungry.
When are you taking him up to Prescott?
In the morning. Harris, will you do me a favor? Will you talk to Armbruster, kind of feel him out? If somebody has ill will against him, he'll know who.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll take him to dinner tonight, and I'll ask him if he knows who wants him dead for $500. You'll probably hear him laughing all the way here from the hotel.
All right, I'll be listening.
Thank you. That'll be all.
You know, come to think of it, there is one possibility.
You mean there is someone who might want to have you shot? Well, who, man? Who?
Well, he's threatened me repeatedly. I never imagined that...
Well, for heaven's sake, Armbruster, who is it?
My foreign editor. He's warned me that he'd have me shot on numerous occasions for not honoring deadlines.
Well, right now, I don't blame him. I'll report that to Hollister.
You're quite friendly with the sheriff, aren't you?
Oh, we get along most of the time.
You know, I read an article that you did on that Harlan case. You covered it very thoroughly last September, I think.
October 3rd to 7th.
Do you think you could prevail upon the noble sheriff to let me interview the Harlan boy?
Well, I'm afraid you're a little late for that. Sheriff's leaving with him in the morning for the capital.
Well, it's still quite early. How about tonight?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Clay's funny about things like that. Boy's under a death sentence. Why do you want to see him?
Well, I intend to devote a whole series of articles on the sudden and violent deaths brought about by the criminal element in your great American West.
Well, let's go. I'll ask him.
Thank you, my dear colleague.
My pleasure, my dear colleague.
Well, the first couple of times, it's kind of scary, I guess. Because you never know whether that other fella might not be a little faster than you are. But then after a while, all that scariness just goes away. Gets real easy. Gets to be just like it was nothing. Nothing at all. And I could take any of them without even trying to, because I was top gun. You hear me, mister? Top gun. Nobody in this whole world can take Danny Harlan. Nobody.
It wasn't the money, was it, Harlan? You would have been the same without money, wouldn't you? You had to kill so you'd feel bigger and better than men, wiser and smarter than yourself. Isn't that the truth? You had to kill. Your miserable little ego demanded it. Isn't that right?
You let me alone. Go on, get out of here and let me alone.
What's wrong, Harlan? You afraid? Does the thought of the noose frighten you?
Shut up, will you? Will you just get out and shut up?
Don't whisper, Harlan. You're tough. You're a killer. People fear you. A man like you should roar, not whisper. You're a tiger, Harlan. You were a tiger when you were killing other men. Are you going to die like a bleating lamb?
I'll kill you. You hear me? I'll kill you.
That's it, Harlan. A tiger. Not a bleating lamb who's terrified of the butcher's steel. Die as you lived, Harlan, and 3 million people will read about your death and remember. Don't disappoint them, Harlan. Don't let them realize you were really a terrified sheep at heart who masqueraded as a tiger. We must help them believe what we want them to believe, Harlan. Don't let them down. Don't let them down.
"300 miles of rugged mountain country. May not be Khyber Pass, but we have a healthy respect for it.
He's right, Armbruster. I've been through that country. It's no Sunday canter in the park.
Well, a little inconvenience is a small price to pay for a good article. It'd be interesting to compare the hangings at your territorial capital with those at our prisons in England.
Look, Mr. Armbruster, it's my job to get this man to Prescott, not run guided tours. The answer is still no. I'm sorry.
Look, Sheriff.
Good night, gentlemen. I'll get my sleep.
Newspaper men.
Good evening, Mr. Armbruster.
Why, Dr. Froelich, this is a surprise. It's a long way from St. Louis. What brings you here to Tombstone?
You, Mr. Armbruster.
Well, surely my article on your most excellent sanitarium wasn't that bad.
Your description of the mental processes of some of my psychopathic cases was very interesting.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, so interesting that I made it a point to acquire and read more of your writings.
You flatter me.
Flattery is not my intention, Mr. Armbruster. I haven't traveled 1,000 miles for that. You made a gentleman's agreement that you would remain in my care. Since you won't help yourself, I have come to help you.
Help me?
You're a very sick man, and you're aware of your sickness. It shows like a beacon in your writing.
Look here, Dr. Froelich.
No layman could have the inside of the criminal mind, such as you described in your article, unless he himself experienced such urges and pressures.
I appreciate your concern, Doctor, but I haven't the time to discuss it now. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have things to do.
I had hoped you would be cooperative. Come back to my sanitarium and let me help you.
It's getting late, Doctor. Do you mind?
Then I will have to help you despite of yourself, Mr. Armbruster.
And what do you mean by that?
I shall be forced to have you brought there.
I'm sorry you had to say that.
Let go! Let go! What do you think you're doing?
I regret the necessity of this, Doctor. I regret being committed to an institution even more.
July 5, 1887. Dan Harlan started on his final journey, 300 miles, to end with a 6-foot drop through the gallows trap.
Good morning, gentlemen.
I thought I told you I didn't want you along. I meant it.
I have no doubt of that, Sheriff, but as you Americans are so fond of declaiming, this is a free country.
Well, you're persistent.
Old world tenacity, Sheriff.
All right. I guess I can't keep you from tagging along, but there's no law says I got to nursemaid you. You're on your own.
Of course.
What, he's going with us?
Like he says, it's a free country. Hold down the town. Let's go.
Well, have a good trip, men.
I fully intend to.
Oh, yeah. Swell trip.
Make it a little easier for you.
Run in front. I told you I wasn't going to nursemaid you, but you better save that. We got a long way to go to the next water hole.
You know, there's no sensation in the world like bagging your first tiger. You've never seen a Bengal tiger, have you, Sheriff?
Oh, tiger. Well, I've seen lots of mountain lions, but no tigers.
Oh, it's no comparison. In my opinion, the Bengal tiger is the king of beasts. Comparing him with an American mountain lion is like comparing a wolf to a lamb. I've always admired these wild creatures that struggle so fiercely for their freedom, preferring death to submission. No Judas goat leads them meekly to the butcher's blade. If they have to die, they die fighting. And I've known more than one that escaped what was thought to be certain death or capture.
Yeah, I suppose so. Come on, Harlan, finish it up. It's time to roll in.
You see them anywhere? They can't have strayed very far.
Yeah, over there. You get breakfast started while I round him up. Keep an eye on him.
All right. Well, are we a tiger this morning or a little lamb being led to the slaughter? Speaking of tigers, they need claws, don't they? Well, I'm waiting for your answer.
I ain't no stinking sheep, mister. You just let me get my hands on that gun, I'll show you what I am right off.
I might do that, under certain conditions.
You're funning me. Maybe I ain't so smart, mister, but I ain't loco neither. You let me alone, you understand? You just let me alone.
You stupid old swine, keep your mouth shut and listen. That's better. Much better. One bullet. Make it count. You'll have money, a horse, and be over the border before the authorities know of your escape.
All that money in one little piece of paper.
Beat Hollister and you'll get the rest. If you lose, it won't matter.
I ain't gonna lose, because I've been practicing drawing from the belt since I was 10.
Here, take it. That one bullet must get Hollister if you want to escape the rope. Remember that. If he lives, nothing can save you.
Well, he ain't gonna live. And you can bet on that.
You might say I already have. Now make it look convincing. You're a tiger, Harlan, remember? A tiger.
Yeah, that's right. Tiger. What are you waiting for, Sheriff? Come on in. We got a little talking to do.
You haven't got a chance, Harlan. I got the horses and the key to your leg iron. You're playing a losing game. Now let Mr. Armbruster go and pitch the gun.
Ha! I got nothing but a noose waiting for me. No matter what happens, I can't be no worse off. I'll make a deal with you.
We fight it out, man to man. I'll put my gun in my belt, then you step out and we draw. Even. What about it, Sheriff? You got the nerve to try me? All I gotta do is wait, Harlan. Well, what about the newspaper gent? You forgetting him? I got a hanging out already, so it ain't gonna hurt me none if I blow his head off. Make up your mind, Sheriff. All right. Turn him loose.
He let go of me, Sheriff.
Harlan's gun in his belt?
It's in his belt.
All right. I'm coming out.
Go ahead. Make your play.
Is it bad?
No, it's just bloody. How about him?
Dead.
What happened, Armbruster? Seems like you gave him his chance to die a little sooner.
For the life of me, I couldn't say. One moment I was walking past him, the next he had my throat in a death grip and my gun in his hand. Let's get that wound dressed.
There's some bandages in my saddlebag.
What is it, Sheriff?
Who did you expect to get killed, Armbruster? Or didn't it matter to you?
I'm afraid I don't follow your meaning.
I wasn't altogether wrong about Reardon up in your hotel room, was I? Who was he supposed to kill to get this half?
You, Sheriff. Nothing personal, of course. It was just a matter of observation, so that my writings could have that touch of realism for which they're so famous.
You'd pay to have a man killed just so you could watch it and then write about it?
Of course. But in doing so, I bring this moment of torment. Vicariously, of course, to 3 million readers, a fitting tribute for any man.
Well, it's too bad they won't be able to read your account of your own hanging.
I'm sorry, Sheriff, but I have other plans. First, I had to kill Reardon, then Dr. Froelich.
Dr. Froelich?
Oh, yes, I'm sure his body's already been found in an alley in Tombstone. Now, Sheriff, it's your turn. I'll say goodbye. It is mortal, isn't it?
I'd say so.
One might talk about observation. If I'd been a true student of the West or of gunfighters, this would never have occurred.
How do you figure?
That other gun you wear, I thought it was just a spare, or perhaps for show. I standing with a revolver in my fist. I never could have believed you would have outdrawn me with your left hand.
It's my business. Yours was writing.
Yes, and I had a great many things wrong, it seems. You know, I have no difficulty at all in speaking, and no great sensation of pain, just a growing weariness. Not very much to write about, after all.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
His job seriously, and he was in no mood to entertain out-of-town callers.
I don't care if this man Ferguson is the president's representative. I can't talk to him now. I'm sorry, Harris.
All right. I'll tell him.
Here he comes. Watch him, Joe. He's got 4 arms and a gun in each hand.
It still only takes 1 slug to kill him.
With your hands up. Joe, you ain't giving up without a fight after coming here to get him.
So that's Clay Hollister.
Yes. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Looking for me, Joe?
Not anymore.
Who told you to kill me, Big Brother Ed?
Good work, Sheriff.
All right, let's get you to jail and have the doc take a look at that arm.
Sorry, Sheriff. I guess I spoke to you at the wrong time. I'm Ferguson from Washington.
Yeah, I know. Editor Clyburn told me you wanted to talk to me.
That's right.
You almost lost your chance.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. Mid-morning in Tombstone, October 16, 1882. There had already been 1 arrest, a near killing, and the Conference on Crime was in session.
So, President Arthur sent me out here to investigate your mounting crime and lawlessness. He feels that Tombstone is a blot upon the entire country. Your Boot Hill is proof enough of that.
Mr. Ferguson, wherever there's sudden wealth, there's always sudden death, whether it be a diamond strike in Africa or a silver strike in Arizona.
What's your opinion, Clyburn?
There is crime and lawlessness in Tombstone, yes. That's in the nature of a boom town. But most important, our law has never lost the upper hand.
Then why should any newspaper send me all the way from New York to do stories about Tombstone? Gentlemen, you know this is one of the most notorious towns in the West.
Hope you're not expecting too much, Miss Blythe. You could be disappointed.
Oh, I'll get my stories.
Good newspaper woman, Clay. Those were fine stories you sent up last spring from Panama about the digging of the canal.
Thank you. I think this investigation will make good copy, too.
Please understand, the president merely wants to offer his help if you need it.
The law's getting control.
How about your Apaches? You don't seem to have them under control.
They're more a matter for the military. General Crook and the cavalry, although we do work hand in hand.
The famous General Crook?
He'd be more famous if he could catch Geronimo.
They're very interested in reading about the Apache wars back east.
Yeah, we'd rather read about them, too.
Been wanting to interview the general. Just can't seem to get down to Fort Huachuca at the same time he's there.
That's where General Crook is now?
Or somewhere in the mountains. Pretty treacherous country.
Elizabeth Blythe had come to Tombstone for a story, and she was determined to get it. She rode out toward Fort Huachuca and the dangers of outlaw country. Where's that lady going, do you know?
Fort Huachuca. Try to find General Crook.
Fort Huachuca. I'm Ferguson, special investigator for the president. Get me a horse, will you? I'd like to see if I can head her off.
Why, yes, sure. I got one already.
Thanks. Thank you. Would you give this message to the telegraph operator? I'd like Fort Huachuca to send a cavalry guard to meet Miss Blythe on the road.
I sure will.
Elizabeth Blythe continued her ride toward Fort Huachuca, unaware that the president's investigator was riding out after her, or that one of the Chandler gang was also riding hard out of Tombstone.
Open up, Ed.
Ed, I got news for you.
Sheriff's dead, huh?
No. The sheriff got Joe in the arm, threw him in jail.
Jail. You stood around like a bum on a log?
Lad, there weren't a thing I could do then. Ed, wait a minute. Don't you want to hear the news?
What news?
About that galoot from Washington.
What about him?
He was sent here by the president to keep an eye on Tombstone. He's headed this way right now, chasing after some gal newspaper reporter from New York.
Yeah. I like that.
Clay!
Yeah?
Ferguson and Miss Blythe are gone.
Oh, back east?
No such luck. They both rode out toward Fort Huachuca.
Great.
The Chandler gang had a plan to intercept the two riders on their way to Fort Huachuca. Clay Hollister sensed trouble and rode against time.
That was a very foolish thing to do, Miss Blythe. You should have told us your plans.
Well, I'm not that foolish. If I were, I couldn't have left Tombstone. I'm going on to get my story from General Crook.
What's this all about?
The boss got lonesome, wants company.
I don't think he'll want mine. Do you know who I am?
That's the reason he wants to see you. The young lady there may get a good story.
It'll be about you.
Oh, no.
Wait here for me. Howdy, Mr. Hollister. Where are you headed for?
I'm looking for a girl newspaper reporter and a man who set out to find her.
So are we. He wired the fort to send a guard out to meet him.
Well, I can't understand how you missed him.
Me either. Hope nothing's wrong.
Look, Corporal, take your men up through the Huachucas on the way back. I'll ride through the Whetstones.
Glad to, Hollister.
And, if you find out anything, wire my deputy in Tombstone.
Right. Hello.
Step up.
Gonna get a drop by, mister. You too, miss.
You'll be doing some dropping yourself. From a scaffold.
That's big talk, mister. From an hombre in your fix.
He has every right to talk big. He's speaking for the United States government.
I know. Sent by the president. That's why I brought him here. I have a small favor to ask of a big man.
What's that?
My brother's in jail in Tombstone. The sheriff shot him. You're going back and release him.
Your brother's in no condition to travel, Chandler.
He'll make it.
I refuse.
Mister, you're in no position to refuse anything.
We'd better go back to Tombstone and do as he asks.
Not you, miss. You're staying here till my brother shows up.
I'm not leaving here without Miss Blythe.
Are you ready to go back to Tombstone?
Without Miss Blythe? No.
Clears, you've got to do as they say.
I want my brother here within 6 hours. And tell Hollister that if he makes one move that looks like a double cross, we clear out for Mexico. With the little lady.
In that case, I guess I have no choice.
Put the blindfold back on him. Take him back where you picked him up. Then he's on his own.
Men together. What's up? Ferguson and that girl, Miss Blythe, disappeared somewhere between here and the fort.
How many do we need?
All we can get.
Ferguson, where's Miss Blythe? She's with the brother of the man you shot and arrested. His men picked us up. He's holding her prisoner.
Ed Chandler. Sit down. How did you get away?
I'm supposed to tell you to release his brother and get him back to Chandler within 6 hours. Or they take Miss Blythe to Mexico. We've got less than 3 hours to get his brother back there.
Back where?
That, I don't know. The afternoon of October 16, 1882. The investigator of crime in Tombstone had found some. And had found himself right in the middle of it.
I've been trying to get something on the Chandlers. They're suspected of murder, rustling, smuggling, armed robbery, everything in the book.
I'll get the men to follow Joe. Maybe we can find him that way.
Never mind the posse. Had to just skip over the border with the girl. Feel like taking a ride? Depends on where to. Back to your brother. I'm turning you loose.
Oh? What's the joker?
Seems like a good idea.
Afraid Ed'll come with the boys and blast the town, huh?
Maybe.
Or maybe you think you're gonna follow me and find Ed, huh?
No, I'm not gonna follow you. I'm gonna take you.
All right. There's nothing I'd like more than getting you within range of Ed's guns.
Quint, I'm gonna take your horse. Mine's tired out.
Sure, Clay.
And don't let anybody follow us.
We won't. But if you're not back by tomorrow, the whole town will go out after you.
We'll be back.
And don't let anything happen to that on the way, or Miss Blythe is a gunner.
Yeah. First you have to shoot him, and you have to keep him alive.
The life of Elizabeth Blythe depended on delivering Joe Chandler before the 3-hour deadline had passed. Chandler grew weaker, and the ride was slow. Time was running out.
Hold it. Well, I'm glad to see you're so full of fight. Afraid I was going to lose you before you led me to your brother.
You smart up, lawman. Go on back. You don't know what you're walking into.
Mount up.
I guess we better get ready to ride. Looks like Joe isn't going to show up. You'll find lots of things to write about in Mexico, miss.
Chandler! Send the girl out, I'll turn your brother loose.
No! Turn Joe loose, then I'll let the girl go.
I'm calling this.
How do I know you'll let him go?
She walks to me slowly, he walks to you slowly. And I'll have him covered every step of the way.
You'll shoot him.
Unless I have to. Give me the girl, there won't be any shooting, this time.
All right. Did you get Hollister when you had the chance?
You were just too fast for me.
Well, he's not too fast for me. We'll get him now.
I helped start all this. I'm sorry.
Stay down. Here, make yourself useful.
Keep him pinned down. I'll go get him from the back. here and fast.
Hey, you're not running out on me when I'm hurt. It'll blast you.
Ed's dead, and you know it.
He ain't dead. He'll be back. He just gunned down Hollister. I know he did.
Then where is he? You wait for him.
Still a couple left in the house.
Come on out, Joe. You haven't got a chance. Men are gone, your brother's dead.
You're lying. He ain't dead.
You're all alone, Joe. Come on out. How are you at writing obituaries?
Going back to jail, Joe.
How long did it take you to run down Pete and the other one?
Wore out 2 horses, but that takes care of the Chandler outfit. I won't need keys to keep the ones up on Boot Hill out of trouble.
You don't like your job, Sheriff.
I don't like killing.
Hollister, I came out here to report on the crime wave in Tombstone.
Yes, and when you interrupted an arrest to tell me that, Joe Chandler almost killed me.
I'm going to report that there is crime, a lot of it. But it's being held in check.
I'll second that.
My recommendation will be absolutely no interference by federal authorities. And you know how I'm going to back that up?
How?
By leaving for Washington myself on the first stage.
Mr. Ferguson, have a good, safe trip.
Thank you.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Dexter, mind the shop.
I've warned you before about Yehu in this town, Buckhorn.
Don't you bluff me. I caught that Indian stealing horses from the mission.
That's Little Hawk, one of Father Miguel's most trusted Indians.
No more he ain't. The Padre was with me when we spotted him stealing the horses.
No, I do not steal mission horses.
Shut your lying mouth.
That's enough.
If Father Miguel caught him, it looks like an open and shut case, Hollister. You've had too much horse stealing from renegade Apaches lately. Why don't you do something about it?
Little Hawk isn't riding with the renegades anymore, Mr. Griffin.
So he says. But we have two witnesses. Just Buckhorn here and Father Miguel. You believe the Padre's testimony, don't you?
I will, when I hear it from him. We ain't got time for that, Hollister.
What we need around here is a sheriff that knows what to do with a rope when he's dealing with horse thieves.
The circuit judge will be here in 2 days. Little Hawk will have his trial then.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. The morning of April 27, 1880 had gotten off to a typical Tombstone start. Gunfire had greeted the day. But this time, nobody had been killed. Thus far.
You're a lucky Indian, Little Hawk. Buckhorn's a good shot.
We're lucky, too. If that gunslinger had killed Little Hawk, we might have had some real Indian trouble.
Yeah, we might not be out of the trouble yet. Griffin was right about one thing. Ranchers have been losing a lot of horses lately.
I tell you again, Sheriff Hollister, I do not steal mission horses. I was only taking them to better pasture.
We'll see.
It is the truth. Buckhorn lies.
Somebody's lying.
I gave my promise to Padre Miguel to try to learn the good life. I would not take back that promise. I would be what the white men call an Indian giver.
That's right, Little Hawk. You would be.
You must have had every chance to kill that Indian before he reached Tombstone. Why didn't you?
Well, don't you think I tried? That Indian knows every trick in the book. Fellow is like shooting at smoke.
I hired you to cause Indian trouble. Now, what about it?
Well, it ain't been so easy. Those renegades have been awful quiet lately. Till Little Hawk decided he wanted himself some nice, fat mission ponies.
Father Miguel actually saw him taking the stock?
Plain as day. Little Hawk thought the Padre was having a siesta. So he rounded up 6 of the best ponies and was moving them out as I rode in. The Padre came running out when he heard the ruckus.
The Padre is bound to tell the truth as he sees it. Perhaps it's just as well you didn't kill Little Hawk.
You gonna let that Indian go to trial?
No. Now the whole town thinks that he's guilty. I'll play that up. We'll have a lynch mob.
I don't like it, Clark. It's too quiet. How do they cool off? In a saloon? Buckhorn's bad enough when he's sober, but when he gets liquored up, look out.
Seems a lawyer like Griffin would be too smart to go along with lynch law.
Yeah, but he was all for it this morning. Looks like I guessed wrong. Yeah. Wait a minute. There's another way. Quint, you and Dexter go out the back way and get our horses.
Right, Clay. What are you going to do?
Little Hawk came from the mission. He's going back there. You think you can hold him off until we get away?
Well, they're not mad at me yet.
Hollister, we want Little Hawk. Bring him out here. Bring him out.
Come on, bring him out, Hollister. We're breaking in.
Hollister, we want Little Hawk.
Come on in, Griffin. Nobody's stopping you.
All right, men, let's go. What are you doing here, editor?
Just reporting the news, Buckhorn, as it occurs. I've got a fitting headline for tomorrow's edition of the Epitaph. Lynch law returns to Tombstone. Thanks to one of its leading citizens, attorney Fred Griffin, this edition marks the probable death of the town once called Too Tough to Die.
Get out of the way, Clyburn.
They're gone.
Where are they?
I thought you were the one with all the answers, Griffin.
All right, Clyburn. Hollister wins the first round, but Tombstone's going to have a new sheriff, and I'm going to see to it, personally. And another thing, editor. Hollister has to bring that Indian back to Tombstone sometime, and when he does, we're going to finish what we started here. You understand? Come on.
Sheriff Clay Hollister knew Indians. But sometimes, the more you knew about them, the less you knew about them. He was taking no chances with Little Hawk.
I think I'll let Quint have one of the reins going through the mountains. Wouldn't want that horse to run away with you. Could be hard to find.
Sheriff Hollister, welcome. Sanctuary, Padre. Padre, help me. In Tombstone, they shot at me. They put me in jail.
Yes, I have heard. But these are our good friends.
We are, Padre, if Little Hawk's innocent. Otherwise, you'll have to pay.
But I did not steal the horses. I was only driving them to better pasture.
Toward the rocks of the Cherry Collis?
Padre, I know a green valley with better water.
You better save that for the judge and jury. Meantime, we have to save him from a lynch mob's rope. You can't very easily try a dead man.
They will shoot me anyway, or hang me. Sanctuary, Padre, sanctuary.
You need no sanctuary from them, even if I could grant it.
Does that mean that Little Hawk is guilty of horse stealing, Father Miguel?
Well, if so, please try to understand. The Apache thinks differently about animals than the white man. To take another man's horses is a great honor in his tribe.
He isn't in his tribe anymore.
He's a mission Indian now, and he's got to observe our laws and customs.
That is true.
The circuit judge is due in Tombstone day after tomorrow. Can you hide him until then? Keep him in custody till trial time?
Custody?
What if you got some place to lock him up? My deputies will guard him.
Well, we have no locks here. Unless the granary. That is a safe place.
May I see it, please?
Why, of course. This is the only door with a key. Without it, my Indians would eat all of the grain in one day.
I guess we all have our troubles, Padre.
Yes.
Little Hawk, I'm holding you here until your trial.
Thank you, Sheriff Hollister. I will not forget what you have done.
Yeah. Just don't give the Padre any trouble. And make sure I'm leaving my deputies here.
They will be welcome guests.
Thanks, Padre. In case you need them.
When you come back for Little Hawk, I will accompany you to Tombstone. I will do all I can for him.
I know you will. Then it's in the hands of the court.
I understand.
Sheriff Clay Hollister started his long ride back to Tombstone. For the time being, he had saved a life. That was one of the sheriff's sworn duties.
Padre, I must talk to you. I want to confess.
Yes, my son.
Padre, help me. Tell the judge you were wrong. That I did not steal the mission horses, but was driving them to a better pasture.
Well, it will be up to him to decide if that is true. I will help you all I can at the trial.
There will be no trial, no judge, and no rope. Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop it or he dies! Move!
Lock the door. Lock it. No door!
Padre! Padre! The keys! The keys, Padre! Right there on the floor.
Thought I better ride out and tell you. They're after your scalp in town. They want a new sheriff.
Who's they?
Griffin, Buckhorn, and the mob?
They just want a quick hanging or another Indian war. And I'm not a...
Little Hawk, he escaped. Shot Dexter and knocked out Father Miguel.
He said he wasn't an Indian giver. Let's go.
How is he?
He's coming around. Dexter?
Not so good.
Tried to stop him.
I know you did, Father. Do you have any idea where he might have gone?
Chiricahua.
Quint, I got those handcuffs. You and Harris hitch up a wagon. Take Padre Miguel and Dexter back to town.
Right, Clay. What about you?
I'm going after Little Hawk.
Man, are you out of your mind? You can't go up there alone. That's Indian country.
There's just one Indian I'm worried about.
You'll be riding into a trap. He'll shoot you before you even know he's anywhere around. Now, look, I'll go back to Tombstone and pick up a posse. And...
Who? Lawyer Griffin and that lynch mob that are out after my hide? No, thank you.
Clay, remember, he's got 2 guns.
Yeah? So have I.
Little Hawk was headed to the Chiricahuas, the mountains where bands of marauding renegades defied the white man. Sheriff Hollister continued a relentless pursuit. Little Hawk finally arrived at a vantage point in the mountains where he could rest and wait and kill. Little Hawk's trail grew harder and harder to follow. The inner Chiricahuas were known only to Indians. For the white man, it was no man's land.
drop the gun.
You're headed in the wrong direction. Your trial's back in Tombstone, remember?
Where they can't wait to hang me.
They just might hang you now. It's a pretty bloody trail you left.
All right, Sheriff. I will go with you. But you will have to help me. I've hurt my hand. See?
So you decided to bring him back, huh, Hollister? Hold it!
You want me, Buckhorn?
We're not taking any chances this time, Hollister.
We're all agreed there's gonna be a hanging. Now. So I'm taking that horse thief and killer.
You talking for yourself or for Lawyer Griffin here?
I'm talking for everybody in town. You're through, Hollister. These people here will tell you so. We don't like Indian lovers. And we're gonna end it all by hanging that horse thief.
Maybe. If the court says so.
The court? There's always loopholes. We're hanging him now.
I don't think so.
I do.
Looks like Little Hawk's gonna have some company in jail.
Hey, aren't you gonna do something, Griffin?
Come on, Buckhorn.
Oh, wait a minute. He hired me to make trouble for the Indians.
He's lying. Would you take the word of a drifter?
I was no drifter when you needed my gun to help you get the Indian land so you could sell it to the railroads.
You're a smart lawyer. You should know the penalty for persecution and fraud, not to mention inciting a lynch mob. Will you join us, Mr. Griffin? What about Dexter and Father Miguel?
They're all right. Both be as good as new in no time. What do you think will happen to Little Hawk?
He'll be tried. You first put it on, everything seems so simple. Crime, justice, black and white.
And?
Then you have to protect a horse thief. Save him from a mob. That's as it should be. Yeah? In the meantime, a padre gets clubbed down, one of your own deputies gets wounded.
But nobody was killed. And many might have been if you hadn't moved your prisoner. You and your deputies couldn't let that mob take him.
Harris, you're a great comfort to me.
You just need someone to talk to.
No. No, but sometimes my conscience does. How about some dinner?
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
I'll cover you.
You'll do what?
I'll tend to the horses.
Now get out of sight.
The box. Then keep your hands on those reins.
Go inside. Get out here. I want everything that folds, ticks, or shines. I said everything, including that book.
I'm a journalist. These are my notes. They can't be of any value to you.
I don't want no stories. Just hand it over.
A writer is a man of great curiosity. Might I ask you a question?
Ask it.
When you spend this for whiskey, does it taste of blood?
Any other questions? All right, climb up. I want to see dust all the way to Tombstone.
Yeah, Robin,
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone Territory.
Didn't you get a good look at him, Dan?
No, he was wearing a mask. I saw his gun, though. He shot the guard down quicker than you could spit and say howdy.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks very much for the information.
You're not going after him alone, are you, Clay? He's a killer.
I'm not alone.
Did you have to pound that gun into my brain?
It was your idea, mister, so you could write about holdups and outlaws.
All right. Here. As agreed, your fee.
Better than we agreed. You got a killing. That guard should cost you extra.
There it is, Sam.
Crack it open.
Busted flush, Sam. It's almost empty. Oh! Sam, you're leaking pretty bad.
Yeah. Too fast to travel. I'll need some clean wrappings and medicine.
Well, I'll go to Tombstone and get them. They don't know me there.
I'll go with you. I want to see how the law works on a stage holdup.
Go ahead. You'll like Tombstone. Smoky town. Most every night there's a killing.
Sure we can trust him, Sam.
Yeah. 'Cause he knows dead men don't write no books. And just take one horse. Like you just found him half dead and picked him up.
Let's go. Rider coming.
Sheriff, I saw a flash of his badge.
Get down and lead the horse. I'll do the talking.
Oh. You fellas mind telling me who you are?
My name is Pell, Sheriff. J. Pell from Philadelphia.
You the rider that was pistol whipped after the stage holdup?
That's me. Oh, this is Tim Grannis. He happened along and picked me up out of the dirt. It was horrible, Sheriff, seeing a man shot down like that. I'd like to work closely with you on this case, if you'll allow me, sir. Give our readers back east a real-life picture of Western justice.
You were within arm's length of the killer. When I get back to the office, you come in and check over the wanted posters.
Certainly. Anything I can do to help.
Good enough.
Ride easy, Sheriff.
Here's the money for the stuff for Sam. I'll meet you in Lordsburg Sunday.
I need more money than that, friend.
I paid Sam in full.
This weed has been tumbling since it left Yuma prison. Time it had some fun. Played little cards. I'm waiting, pal.
All right. Here. Sorry, Sheriff. None of these.
Well, thanks anyway.
But, these are interesting. What we in the writing line call background material. Now, here's an example. Sam Crane, aged 42, wanted for the shooting of 14 men. That's more than most of your top guns. Do you know him, Sheriff?
Some.
Well, what was he like? I mean, 14 men. Did he have a fast gun? Maybe the fastest? How tough was he, really?
He was a killer. Likely still is. I understand he just broke out of Yuma prison with the help of his younger brother.
A real-life murderer. At large out in those hills somewhere. I wish I could meet him.
Why?
The deadliness, the ruthlessness. That's the stuff legends are made of.
It's men with pens, not guns, that make legends, Mr. Pell.
That a compliment, Sheriff?
No, just a fact.
I suppose, Buffalo Bill, Calamity Jane aren't real people.
Bill Cody got famous for slaughtering cattle and wearing long hair. Poor old Calamity.
But they are famous.
For things they didn't do. What they're famous for never happened except in Ned Buntline's head. Little man with a sharp pen and an inkwell full of blood. Oh, Harris.
Hello, Clay.
You want more complete information on Sam Crane? This is Harris Clyburn, editor of the Epitaph. Writer from back east, Harris, J. Pell.
How you doing, Miss Pell?
Privilege, Clyburn. Certainly be obliged if you let me browse through your files.
Oh, anytime. Come on over now.
Oh, thank you.
Clay, I just dropped by to see if there was anything new on that stage holdup.
Oh, not a thing.
Anything else?
Nope. Town's got its head on a pillow.
Come outside, Ryder, man. I got a story for you.
Not now, Tim. I'm busy.
Don't pull any of your eastern airs on me.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Come on, Tim. Let's go. What's the matter with you? Lose your senses?
Listen, Ryder, I need money.
What for?
I don't like the way they play poker in this town. I've been cheated, skinned right down to the white meat, but I got some tricks of my own. All I need is some cash and chips.
What you need's your horse. Let's find him. This Hollister's a tough sheriff.
Him? Why, he don't know what a man and a gun can do together. Me and Sam,
Shut up,
we...
you fool. Now stay out of that office. Let's get out of town.
This boy giving you any trouble, Mr. Pell?
Trouble? Well, not at all, Sheriff. I guess I just didn't realize that out west here, when a man invites you to have a drink with him, you don't refuse.
That ain't half of what you don't realize. Sheriff, why don't you get your nose out of our business?
Now, cool off, Tim. I am indebted to you for helping me today. Here, have yourself some fun. I have an appointment with Mr. Clyburn.
That's mighty generous of you, Ryder, man. Back to your pipe and slippers, watchman.
See you later, Clay. Did you find what you're after?
No, I haven't found much I can use at all. Frankly, I'm surprised at your rather colorless reporting.
I'm running a newspaper, Mr. Pell, not a paint shop.
But Sam Crane's killed 14 men. He can't be the kind of cowardly shadow you've described. He's got to be a dangerous killer.
Oh, I didn't say he wasn't dangerous. Cholera, dynamite, and rattlesnakes are dangerous. Well, you mix them together and put boots on it, you got Sam Crane.
But it must take courage for Crane to kill.
Courage? It doesn't take courage to kill. It takes courage to avoid a killing.
Like your sheriff. Tell me this. Has anyone ever done a story on Clay Hollister's life for the Eastern papers?
Never?
How do his gunfights stack up against Crane's? Just how many men has he killed?
Mr. Pell, that's a piece of arithmetic you don't do around here. Not if you're Hollister's friend.
What was that?
You wanted to see him splashing on the local color? Come on.
What's the matter, Tin Horn? Won't you fight for your money?
I haven't got a gun.
Well, I never saw a gambler yet that didn't carry a gun. Somebody's taken him to some hardware. What's the matter? You all yellow? I heard that Tombstone was as wild as a half-skinned grizzly.
You better put up the gun, cowboy.
Well, if it ain't the sheriff.
Put up the gun or I'll jail you.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you can't climb over bullets.
The afternoon of April 12, 1882. The one killing J. Pell had witnessed was not enough for the story he wanted to write. He was determined to do something about it.
Sheriff?
Hello, Mr. Pell.
Sarah?
You want to talk to your friend?
Yes, I do want to talk to him.
Go ahead.
That was a brave thing you did, Sheriff. But he's just a green kid. Would you walk up to a real hard case the same way? Say, a man like Sam Crane?
Well, maybe not just the same way.
You gotta get me out of here somehow. I'm tired of scrubbing up these jail floors.
Take it easy. You're only going to be here for a couple of days.
Couple of days. Look, pal, you gotta get that medicine to Sam.
How? I don't know these hills. I could never find that cabin again.
Yes, you can. Go out the Benson Road about 5 miles. Up the big draw till you get to the foot of the hills. You'll see it.
Where's your horse?
Back at the granary. I got some food and medicine in a saddlebag. Hurry up, Sam. May need it bad by now.
What'll I tell Sam? You got thrown in jail?
No. Tell him my horse fell and I jerked my knee loose. And I'll meet you in Lordsburg on Sunday.
It's a pretty big jail. You may not get it all scrubbed up by Sunday.
How is he? Breathing blood and thunder?
I've seen more thunder come from a baby and a rattle. Sheriff, how'd you like to have enough money to own this town? The mountains around it.
What's on your mind, Mr. Pell?
Suppose I could find out where Sam Crane is.
You've got a notion where he is?
Right where. He's hiding at the end of the rainbow.
What are you getting at?
Just this. I want to be at the end of that rainbow when you get there, in a front row seat. Sheriff, if I could find out where Crane is, I'd trade that information. If you let me watch the killing.
Who's killing? His or mine?
His. I was going to write a series of articles about Sam Crane. But now I've found a man that's worth a book. You. You let me in on the Crane killing, and I'll have what I need to make you the next national hero.
Me?
I guarantee it. Lecture tours, star of your show, circus, travel abroad, audiences with royalty. You can become a legend, Hollister.
Stop right there, Mr. Pell. Leave me alone to finish my supper.
Maybe you didn't hear me right. Now listen.
I heard you. And you heard me. Get out.
Where's Kirby? How come you found your way back here?
You're okay, Sam? Wound healing?
Yeah, I dug the bullet out with my knife. Where's the boy?
That's what I rode out to tell you, Sam. Kirby told me the way. That tin-horn sheriff jailed him.
The law got Kirby? What for?
Hollister claimed he was cheating at poker. He gun-whipped him, Sam. Beat him half to death and ran him in.
Served him right, brainless kid. Pell, did he talk too much?
I hate to say it, Sam. I'm afraid he did. At least enough for the sheriff to guess he knew something about the stage holdup.
I knew it. I knew someday that kid in his mouth.
The sheriff said he was going to keep him locked up until he told everything. Do you think he'll really talk, Sam?
Like a coyote under the full moon. You know the layout of that Tombstone jail?
Oh, yeah.
And you want to see a real shootout? You want a dead sheriff for supper?
Sam, you get away with this. You kill that sheriff and spring your brother. And I'll make them forget Hardin and Tom Horn. I'll make you as big as Jesse James or Billy the Kid.
That was just big enough to fit in a pine box. Come on, let's mount up.
Time to go to work. After you get all this licked down nice, Quint here will find some more house cleaning for you in the office.
I'd start waving them up.
Harris, you tied the horse behind the jail?
Yeah. And the boy was watching. I could see him through the bars.
Good.
What makes you think he'll make a break for it?
Hunch?
Well, why do you want him to?
Boy rode into town after the stagecoach robbery with Pell. And now Pell just can't stop talking about Sam Crane. They might have some information about where Crane's hiding.
You think Crane held up that stage?
Whoever did it's carrying around some lead from the guard's gun. Check the boy's saddlebags. He just bought a bottle full of medicine for washing out wounds and a pair of long-nosed pliers. Pretty odd buying for a drifter, wouldn't you say?
Well, why didn't you have me stake out his own horse instead of that other?
Because Pell ran off with it. Medicine, pliers, and all. Quint reported it. We couldn't trail him.
Well, let's hope he takes the bait.
Yeah. Quint's all primed. He'll drop like a rock. We better wait inside. He might see us here. Well, I guess I can start setting type. You better wait and see how the story ends.
Rider coming. Take cover.
It's Kirby.
Kirby!
Sam, you're all right. You're riding.
Yeah. How come you are?
Well, I broke out. That sheriff had me swapping floors. I saw a horse tied out back, and I broke.
Swamping floors? You don't look beat up. Kirby, how much did you tell him?
I didn't tell him nothing.
Pell here says that sheriff beat your brains out, and you started blabbing.
He hit me once, but I didn't tell him nothing.
Remember, I'm a writer. I color up the facts some.
Enough to send me straight into that sheriff's guns, trying to shoot my brother out of the Tombstone jail.
Now, you're being melodramatic.
Him and me both, mister, and you're right in the middle, not off to one side, taking notes. Sam, him and that sheriff were so close they could have been wearing the same hat.
You came west looking for something to write. You just found it. Your death warrant.
No, Sam, I swear it. I'll make you famous and rich. Don't shoot me.
There's lots of ways to kill snakes. Shooting's one of them.
It's Hollister. Don't shoot. You'll warn him.
Get behind those rocks. We'll crossfire him.
Drop it!
Sam, shoot!
The boys quit, Crane. Hold your fire. Come in alive.
I knew you'd change your mind, Hollister. You're on your way. I'll make you a fortune. Dirty, what a... You and your blowhard brother. Coyotes. Coyotes kill sheep. Takes a man to walk into two guns and kill. A man like this.
So you finally got your story, huh?
Today, in the parched hills near Tombstone, I watched a killer die. Sam Crane, the Southwest's deadliest outlaw.
Sam Crane, a coward who killed for greed and out of ignorance.
Well, we've got two writers around here.
And then changed the part about coyotes. Coyotes are smart, like this one here. He decided to talk rather than hang.
You mean about his brother's killings?
Mm-hmm. Especially the last one, where Sam killed a stage guard for a fee paid by a writer gathering information on Western outlaws.
That's a lie.
You paid. And you'll finish paying with 10 years of your life for conspiracy to commit murder. In Yuma prison, you'll meet most of the outlaws in the territory. You can write their stories.
Whistle me up a memory. Whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Drop it.
It's all right, Sheriff. It's no trouble. Just going to teach this teasing little filly a lesson. Why don't you just go on back to bed, huh?
I said drop the whip.
Sheriff, this ain't none of your affair. I guess you don't know who I am. My pa's Flint Anson.
Yeah, I know who you are. You boys better get him home before I'm forced to tan his britches. All right?
I think so.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone Territory. April 13, 1884. Wally Anson was dead. Sheriff Clay Hollister had killed him in self-defense. And as Flint Anson rode into town the next day, the town was alive with tension. Flint.
I want to put an ad in the next edition of your paper. Full page.
Full page? Sure, Flint. Come in. You have a copy?
I'll tell you what to say.
Sit down.
Write this. Attention all interested parties. I promise to pay the sum of $10,000 to the first person or persons bringing me proof of the death of the man who murdered my son.
Wally wasn't murdered, Flint, and you know it. Clay shot back at him in self-defense.
I'm not asking for your opinion. This is my ad.
And this is my newspaper. I won't print it.
All right. Somebody else will.
Flint! Listen to me. Don't do this. Think it over.
Think what over? That Wally was a weakling? That he wasn't the man I wanted him to be? He was my son. If it wasn't for this, I'd kill Hollister myself.
When you took those 2 slugs in that arm, Flint, you were defending homesteaders you didn't even know. You brought the first law and order to this part of the country. Don't throw away what you and so many others have fought so hard to get.
Sounds like one of your editorials. You never had a son. What do you think I fought for? All I can end up with is 6 feet of ground. I was thinking of Wally and his sons.
Flint.
going through that for, Mr. Claiborne?
Where'd you get these, Willie?
Stage was full of them. The driver dropped off a couple bundles with the mail. And then he gave me $2 and said I should push them up all over town.
Well, didn't you read it?
Yeah, but it's none of my business what it says. $2 isn't easy to come by. Hey, you can't do that. Give me those.
What's going on?
Flint didn't waste much time, did he?
Great.
Hey, you can't do that. Stop it.
That's not going to help any, Harris.
Well, he's not going to put these up in Tombstone.
Mr. Claiborne has no right to stop me from putting them up. Does he, Sheriff?
No, Willie, nobody has. You go right ahead. What are you trying to do, Harris? Keep progress?
Progress?
Yeah, $10,000. It's a lot more than most reward posters offer. Here you go, Willie. I wouldn't want you to run short.
Ain't nothing personal in this. You understand, Sheriff? The driver gave me $2 to do a job. I gotta do it.
Sure.
Yes, sir, gents. I'm offering 2-to-1 odds that Sheriff Clay Hollister doesn't live through the next 7 days. Now, you, sir, there's a certain expression on that handsome, intelligent face of yours that tells me you don't agree with my thinking. All right, sir. I will wager you $50 against your 25 that within 7 days from this date, Sheriff Hollister will be pushing up daisies on Boot Hill. No? All right, you gents name the stakes. I'll lay the odds and cover all bets. Evening, Sheriff. I was just saying to these gents...
I know, mister. I heard.
Nothing personal, Sheriff. I'm a gambler. I bet on anything.
I'm getting fed up with this nothing personal talk. I tell you what, you're a gambler. Why don't you try for the big stake yourself?
I don't know what you mean, Sheriff.
Why fool around with this penny ante stuff? If you're so sure I'm going to be dead within a week, why not fix it so you can't lose?
I'm no gunslinger, Sheriff.
I don't figure you carry this just for luck. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my back and walk for that door. That'll give you 4, maybe 5 seconds where you can pick up that gun and shoot me. If you do, you'll earn yourself $10,000. Of course, I just might shoot back. Is that clear, mister? What's the matter, gambler? Didn't you like the odds? I got to admit it, Harris. I'm getting a little jumpy.
Look, Clay, you can't handle this alone. The mayor's calling a meeting at his house tonight. He's asking for volunteers to help you, well, keep an eye on things.
You mean a bodyguard? Well, I can guess who started the idea.
Look, I appreciate it, Harris, but don't drag other people into it. It's my fight, just mine.
Well, I don't see it that way. That stage is carrying those posters by the hundreds. The territory will be covered with them.
Yeah. I figure by the end of the week, everybody who can squeeze a trigger and is looking for a fast dollar will be headed this way.
That's right. Well, you don't like my idea. What's yours?
Haven't got one yet. Well, I got a tour to finish.
Oh, Clay, I think I'd like some air myself. Do you mind if I walk along with you?
Yes, Harris, I do. One of them might be a bum shot. Nick you.
Willie. Hello, Clay.
Jack. All right, Harris, I know him. He's the marshal from Globe, Jack Bolton.
Clay, you ought to be careful letting kids like this play with a gun. A mighty sharp bead aimed right at the back of your head.
Not much need to ask why, is there, Willie?
Figure somebody's going to kill you, Sheriff. I had nothing against you. But for that kind of money.
Well, leastway, he's honest.
What's there to laugh about, Bolton?
He's still alive, ain't he?
Lucky for me you came along when you did, Jack.
Lucky nothing. That's the way I had a plan, Clay. You're the talk of the territory. Thought you might need the help of a brother lawman. I got a great plan, so let's lock this hyena up and I'll tell you all about it.
Marshal John Bolton from Globe had saved Clay Hollister from being shot in the back. The lawman had a plan, and Hollister was willing to listen.
I've known Flint Anson ever since he came out west. And the only way you're going to settle this is with a personal conference. A showdown of words instead of a showdown of guns.
Maybe so. At least it's better than sitting around waiting.
That's right. That's why we catch old Flint by surprise.
You going along too, Marshal?
Yeah, like I said, I know Anson better than anybody. I can talk to him, and if he won't listen, and worse comes to worse, we always got a couple law guns to back us up.
Well, if that's the case, it seems to me it would be better to go up there with a real show of strength. I can get any number of men to ride out there with us.
No, that's no good. You see, this way it's man to man, just Clay and Flint. I'm only going to go along just to try to get them together.
I don't know, Clay. You'd be riding right into Flint's stronghold.
You got a better plan?
Well, maybe we can think of one.
No, Harris, I think Jack's right. Personal showdown, one way or the other.
That's right, son. Old Flint's eyes are going to pop right out of his head when we come riding up together.
Let's go.
I don't like it, Clay.
I haven't liked it from the beginning.
Figure you want to meet up with those gents. Bounty hunters. Yeah, just the beginning. Well, let's go, Clay. They're heading for Tombstone.
Wake up!
Harris Claiborne, what are you doing here?
Wake up, Jake. I want you to send a telegraph message.
At this hour of the night? Who to?
The mayor of Globe. Come on, Jake.
Give me a chance to put my pants on, will you?
This is more important than your pants. Now, you send this, and don't you go back to bed until you get an answer. You hear me? If it says what I think it will, I've got a long ride ahead of me. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Nothing. I just got a bad back, Clay. Not as young as I used to be. You've been riding pretty hard. What do you say we rest the horses?
Sure, we got a few minutes.
There's a stream over yonder. I'll water the horses down. If you want to build a fire, we'll have a spot of breakfast, all right? You call it your plan. Oh, boy.
Are you sure the telegraph's working?
Of course it's working. You got to give him time. Probably got the mayor of Globe up the same way you got me. Give him time.
Well, we should have had an answer by now. Are you sure it's working? What's it say?
Bolden? This? Charged. No. Authority as law man.
Thanks, Jake.
Hey, won't you want your message?
Don't move, boy. Unbuckle your gun belt and bring your hands up real high.
You really do have a plan, don't you?
That's better, boy. Now you raise up on those hind legs of yours, real nice and slow.
You know, Jack, anybody had asked me, I would have bet 5 years' pay you'd be the last man in the world to do this.
5 years? Don't be a piker. Make it 10 years. 10 years of pay and you still don't come close to that bounty. Oh, yeah, they give you a badge and a gun and a high-sounding title, and for $78 a month, they ask you to go out and risk your neck.
You didn't used to talk that way when we rode together. Used to say, if a man was interested in money, this was the wrong job for him.
Yeah, I guess I did say that. Just shows you how loco a man can get sometime. There was a time when I believed all those things. If you protect a town, they'll appreciate it, respect you, repay you. But I found out different. Clay, I'm 40 years old. 22 years I spent behind this stinking badge. And they said I was getting too old and too slow. Oh, they kept me on all right, but as a deputy. But only because nobody had the stomach to fire me outright.
So you turned bounty hunter?
No, I hung on. And I came across this bank robber who offered me $500 if I let him go. Clay, there was a time when I would have busted his neck. But I took the money. Yeah, I took it. Town found out about it. Gave me exactly 24 hours to get out.
What do you want me to do? Tell you how badly you were treated?
Oh, no, Clay. $10,000 buys a heap of comfort.
How are you going to explain the shooting?
Everybody knows the bounty hunters were gunning for you. In fact, I had to wing one myself back there in Tombstone. Those two we saw a while ago, they ought to be in town by now. We'll just say that we were ambushed. Might even give myself a little flesh wound to show how I was trying to protect you again.
You think they'll believe you?
Well, that's just a chance I'm willing to take.
Then how are you going to collect the reward?
Anson. Anson's a friend of mine, remember? He'll be the only one that really knew what happened. That satisfy you?
Nothing satisfies me right now.
Well, it's getting late. It's just about that time. Now, how do you want it? In the front or in the back?
I don't suppose looking me in the eye is going to stop you now.
I'm afraid not.
If it's all the same to you, I'd just as soon be facing you. They were right. I was getting too old.
Here's the first body you've bought, Anson. There's liable to be a lot more before this is over. Hello, Harris. Glad you're here. I got a story for you. On the morning of April 18th, there was a final showdown between the hired gunman of Flint Anson and Sheriff Clay Hollister. Now, which one of you was tempted by the 10,000, like he was?
He was my friend.
Yes, Flint, he liked you too. And your money. There'll be a lot more come for your money. You won't know him. Maybe you won't care.
You might be interested in this, Anson. That's a petition signed by the citizens of Tombstone, asking that you retract that price on Clay's head. Look it over. Some of those names are your best friends, and they wanted me to tell you something else. They've always respected and admired you. You once fought on the side of law and order. But the first time it hits you personally, you're on the other side. Think it over, Flint. All the killing in the world isn't going to bring your boy back.
We'll take care of the body.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone Territory. territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Reed Barker knew the Oriental Saloon had taken in a lot of money.
A minute at the bar. Get over to the wall.
Drop the gun. And I'm certainly glad that it's you, Sheriff, because there's a holdup in there. In fact, I think he's still in there.
Really? That bag of money you got in your hand makes me think he's right out here.
Yes?
That's right. Drop it. Any more tricks, friend? Inside. You're not going to kill me? Guess you haven't heard about Tombstone, friend. I got a little thing here called due process of law. Means I'm supposed to take you in alive. If I can.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. September 8, 1881. Not quite a month later, Reed Barker had been tried and convicted of armed robbery and murder. But the trouble was only beginning.
Something I can do for you?
Come and see a guest of yours, Sheriff. Reed Barker.
Sorry, Barker isn't allowed any visitors.
Well, it hardly seems fair not to let him see his own kin. He's my brother.
Your brother?
That's right, Sheriff. I'm Seth Barker. Now, wouldn't I be plumb out of my head to come here if I was wanted someplace, Sheriff? I'm not like old Reed. Never done nothing wrong in my whole life. And Reed, he don't have no kin at all, except me.
All right, I'll give you 5 minutes with him.
You act like you kind of feared old Reed, Sheriff.
Unbuckle your gun belt.
You feared of me too, Sheriff?
A murderer who shoots people in the back just might have a brother equally as heroic.
You're right, Sheriff. Ain't no sense taking chances.
Face that wall. Brace your hands up against it. All right. That way. Clint, keep an eye on the store.
Sure, Clay.
Somebody to see you, Barker. You got 5 minutes.
Hello, Reed.
You sure took your sweet time getting here.
Come as fast as I could. Dude, I told you you would help.
Say, Sheriff, would you mind, could my brother and I have a couple of minutes privacy?
Sorry.
It's all right, Sheriff. Say, Seth, you remember that farewell party that you had in mind? Well, we're going to forget all about it. Understand?
But, it's all planned.
Now, I said forget it. You see, I've had an awful lot of time to think since I've been in here. And, well, I've seen the error of my ways. I should have lived a better life, more like the sheriff and all of his men.
Sure, Reed. That's right.
You remember the way it was back in Topeka?
Topeka?
About 2 years ago, that guy that was going to die.
Oh, sure. I remember.
You remember that? Well, you remember how he repented near the end? Well, that's the way I want to go.
Oh, sure.
I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go and see Pa. Last I heard, he was living just outside of town. Poor old man, he never did have much, and I think if you was to give him $1,000, I think it'd be real pleasurable to him.
I'll do that, Reed. You have my word on it.
Good.
Time's up.
You go and see Pa as soon as you can, huh?
I will, Reed.
Bye, sir.
It's all yours, Quint.
Right.
Farewell party, forget it. Like the sheriff and his men. Topeka. Why'd you underline that?
Topeka 2 years ago. It meant something, some kind of a plan. That part about forgetting the farewell party, I'm sure that has something to do with trying to break Reed out of jail. But he's not going to do that now. He's got some other kind of a plan. They talked it out right in front of me. A plan to get Reed out of jail.
Well, at least you can take all the precautions you need.
What precautions? I've done everything I can think of. It's got to be something I wouldn't think of. Something right there in that code. Like Reed telling Seth to give his pa $1,000.
Well, maybe he meant it. He stole over $20,000 that hasn't been found.
Yeah, but according to Seth, Reed has no other family. Just him.
I wish I had the Topeka files of 2 years ago. They might help. I'll tell you what. I'll write for him.
No, that might be too late.
Convinced that the conversation he had witnessed between Reed and Seth Barker was some sort of coded plan on the part of the brothers, Sheriff Clay Hollister rode out to talk to Noah Crane, the hangman. The sheriff was taking every precaution against any last-minute escape attempt on the part of the killer.
One hanging's just like any other. Now, why all the fuss, huh?
You just conduct the hanging, Noah. Let me take care of the arrangements.
What are the arrangements?
I'll let you know when the time comes.
You know, it must be true what people have been saying all over town.
What's that?
That you're scared someone's going to come in and take that boy away from you?
Nobody's going to take the boy, Noah. You just buy yourself that new rope. You'll be using it.
You see something?
Just a couple of hours to go. If somebody's gonna grab Barker, it'll have to be soon.
Has he given you any hint that he's expecting help?
No, not in so many words. Just doesn't act like a man who knows he's gonna die.
Well, what are the chances, Clay? I mean, what if a dozen or so men suddenly rode into town? Could they take him?
I don't think so. First place, they couldn't surprise us. I've got men hidden out there. No, it's not that I'm worried about. It's the unknown. There's something going on that we don't know about.
Hey, what's going on?
Dawn, Reed. Time to go.
Dawn. Not going to be much of an audience, is there?
It's the idea. Won't be anybody there but the necessary witnesses and the guards.
Yeah? What kind of a day is it? Nice day for a hanging?
Is there such a thing?
Hey, get your hands off of me. Now, you listen to me, Sheriff. You're looking at one man who is not afraid to die.
Looks like you're afraid I might get away, Sheriff.
My job to see you don't.
Anytime you're ready, Judge.
Reed Barker, by legal order of a duly appointed court of law.
All right, now, isn't it enough? I had to listen to that stuff once. Now, let's get it over with.
Do you want to say anything before this sentence is carried out?
No.
You want a blindfold?
No.
What? Oh! That's right. Get broke. Now, get me loose.
You're gonna have to go back to jail till we get a ruling on this.
Well, you can't hang me twice. That's the law, isn't it, Judge?
If it was an act of God.
What if it wasn't? What if it was a deliberate accident?
If you can prove criminal conspiracy, then I'll reschedule the execution.
Now, just a minute. What do you mean, prove? Now, the rope broke, so I'm free. Now, what have you got to prove?
We'll see.
Reed Barker had been hanged, and he was still alive. And one thing was certain, the rope had not been cut.
What happened to it, Noah? You're responsible. What happened?
I don't know. It was brand new, the same as always.
Yeah. Look, Judge, this didn't just happen.
Can you produce proof?
Well, give me some time.
The law states that if a criminal survives an execution and there's no proof of criminal conspiracy, he is absolved of all the crimes with which he was charged.
You're turning loose a murderer.
Now, you heard what the judge said. Now, you've got to turn me loose.
All right, Quint, unlock him.
Thank you kindly, Sheriff.
Don't thank me.
Well, gents, who's going to join me at the Oriental? You know, an ordeal like this gives a man a mighty dry throat. Well, I'll thank you if you'd return my gun to me, Sheriff.
Quint, take care of it.
Looks like he's a mite scared, Reed.
You're like he just saw a ghost. Drinks, you.
Yes.
You did pretty good.
You can always trust me, Reed.
Yeah. Hey, what did you have to pay?
2,000.
2,000? You sure don't care how you spend my money.
Well, I got him down from 5. It was worth it at twice the money.
Yeah.
Reed, let's get out of here. I got us a couple of horses.
Now, just sit down and relax. Look, I am a free man. I don't have to run from anybody, and I can stay here as long as I want. Forever if I want to.
Sure you can. Only that little old tin can bank over in Bartlettville, it's not going to stay full of gold forever. I figure we best be moving.
Now, I'm still doing the figuring the same as always. And I figure we're going to stay here until tonight. You see, it's not every day that you get to pick up an easy $2,000.
Reed.
Hmm?
You're not figuring on taking that money back.
Back from my friend? The one you gifted my $2,000 to? Well, now, he can't stick it. He can't stick it in the bank. And if somebody was to take it from him, he can't complain to the sheriff. Is that right? Now, relax.
It had to be a trick.
Clay, we went over every inch of those gallows. There wasn't a thing. Noah's been the hangman for years. We know he bought the rope brand new, same as always.
I know. So we're right back where we started from.
What is it?
You tell me.
Kind of a sharp odor. Gunpowder?
No, I don't think so. It smells to me more like some kind of an acid.
That's what it is, all right. Hydrochloric acid.
Well, how would you apply it to the rope, Doc? Just dip it in?
Not necessarily. As a matter of fact, that acid is so powerful that, well, it would eat through the rope immediately.
Well, suppose you wanted the rope to break when a certain amount of weight was pulling on it. But you had to make sure that if anybody examined it first, it would look and feel just like an ordinary rope. How would you do it?
Well, I think I'd use a medicine dropper. A few drops of the acid on the inside strand so it wouldn't show.
That's it. I think you've got your proof.
Doc, can you spare some of that in a medicine dropper?
Sure, Clay.
Harris, I want you to do me a favor. Get me a new rope, then go down to the blacksmith shop. Tell him I want to borrow an anvil. Have him deliver it to the gallows.
An anvil?
Weighing about 180 pounds. afraid exactly like the first one. But who? It was never very friendly, but then hanging people and digging graves isn't a very friendly way of life, or one that pays very well.
You ain't got no right to accuse me of anything, Sheriff. And that newspaper man got no right nosing around my place.
He's acting as my deputy, Noah. You know, I think we're going to prove that you doctored that rope. Might go easier on you if you confessed first.
No, you ain't making much sense, Sheriff. I always done my job fair, and anybody...
What do you got, Harris? The acid?
Nope. $2,000.
Yes, sir. $2,000. That's what we're going to pick us up tonight.
Anytime you say, Reed.
Well, I say right now. Any objections?
Oh, no, sir, Mr. Barker. No objections.
No, sir, Mr. Barker. Let me tell you something, Mr. Bartender. This here's the town that tried to hang me, only they couldn't. Not Reed Barker, because he's the only man that's tougher than Tombstone.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Barker.
That's right, Mr. Barker. You know that's right, Mr. Barker. And I want you to give that sheriff of yours a message. You tell him that Reed Barker's not finished with him.
Reed! They got the hangman. Sheriff's headed this way. He's coming for you, Reed.
Well, good. You go out there and tell him I left. I go around the back way and get him while he's talking to you. Go on.
Hello, Sheriff.
Drop the gun belt.
Yeah? Mind if I ask you what I did?
Where is he?
Old Reed? He left here a while ago.
Come on out, Barker. You didn't hang me anyway.
Clay? Huh? These just came. Those Topeka papers from 2 years ago. A little late. But look here. It explains what Reed was talking about.
Yeah.
A condemned killer bribed a hangman to have the rope break.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't you interested?
Yeah, I'm interested.
Just playing around with his code. Paul, of course, meant Noah, and $1,000 was the amount of bribe that Reed thought Seth should offer. So, what happened to your Topeka killer?
Well, he got away with it for a while. They discovered the plot when the hangman started throwing money around.
I guess Reed would have gotten away with it, too, if he hadn't stayed here. Instead, he killed his brother.
And got killed.
Yeah. One time he told the truth.
How do you mean?
He said he wouldn't hang. He didn't.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
This Kyle Dodge, gang leader and killer. The other, a United States Marshal. The man responsible for escorting Kyle Dodge through Tombstone to the territorial prison at Yuma. This is the way they arrived.
$0.25 for breakfast and a nickel tip. Prices are going up and up.
There's no telling where they'll stop.
Well, there's one thing certain. If they go much higher, I'll have to ask the city council for a raise. Take it easy, Marshal.
I hope you have a nice, strong jail, Sheriff. I was ambushed a couple of miles back.
Get Doc Cunningham.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. Sheriff Hollister had sent for the Tombstone physician, Doc Cunningham, to aid the dying marshal and his wounded prisoner, Kyle Dodge. Clay, this is Dr. Buell. Doc Cunningham was out on a call.
Dr. Buell, huh? Haven't seen him in town before.
Well, he's just in town for a few days. I was lucky to get him.
Maybe, maybe not. Where'd you find him?
He came up and introduced himself. Said he heard you needed a doctor. What's eating you? You're meaner than a stepped-on rattler.
I'll tell you later.
No, there's nothing I can do about him. He's dead. I'll take a look at Dodge now. You be good enough to show the way, Sheriff?
Tell me, Doctor, how did you know that I had a wounded prisoner?
Why, that's common gossip. It's all over town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The patient, Sheriff.
I suppose you have proof that you are a physician.
Why, Now, wait a minute, Clay. That's going a little far, don't you think?
Well, Dr. Buell?
Well, I've never been asked to identify myself before, but as long as you insist.
The doctor volunteered his services, Clay.
All right. I'll be watching you closely.
Nice of you to drop by. I was getting lonesome.
Open that shirt. I want to get a look at that shoulder.
Sure, Doc. How's the marshal?
Your friends did a good job.
Always said being a lawman was a dangerous profession.
Yeah. Especially when you have to worry about being shot in the back from ambush.
It's just a flesh wound. You'll live.
For a long time, I hope. There's a nice big cell waiting for you up at Yuma Penitentiary.
Talking's one thing. Getting me there's another.
You'll get there.
That's just your opinion. I got some friends who think differently. Marshall found out the hard way.
Well, your friends don't seem to have been much help so far.
I got a bad break, that's all. If it hadn't been for an accident, I'd have gotten away during the ambush.
What do you mean, an accident?
When the marshal was bushwhacked, Dodge here went for his gun. And in the struggle, Dodge got himself shot. Just a minute, Doc. Take your hand out of the bag, real easy. Now move up here. This part of your medical equipment?
A man's got a right to carry a gun, hasn't he, Sheriff?
Yeah. But in your case, it's a little unusual. It's your profession to heal, not hurt.
I'm traveling across dangerous country. Even a doctor's got the right to defend himself. I'll take that back now.
Sure. Just send me your bill. I'll make sure you get paid.
Thank you. And I'll include the price of 6 bullets with my statement. Good day, gentlemen.
Little jumpy, aren't you, Hollister? Make sure you lock it up good. Your bird might get out and fly away.
I made arrangements for the marshal.
Thanks. I guess you're wondering about the way I treated Buell.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call your attitude normal.
While you're out looking for a doc, the marshal was able to tell me a few facts about Kyle Dodge.
Well, he's a tough customer, and that's a fact.
And he's got a lot of friends out of the same mold. Dodge and his gang have been raiding the small towns in the eastern part of the state. The only one they could capture was Dodge himself.
Well, then how many of that gang do you suppose are in Tombstone now?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And you think Dr. Buell could be one of them?
Could be.
Dodge seemed pretty confident. Suppose he's counting on those men getting him out?
According to the marshal, Dodge is the only one who knows where all the money from the raids is stashed. They've got to try to free him.
Yep. They tried it once. They'll make the attempt again.
And my deputy's out of town.
Well, I need some help. Anything I can do.
All right. I gotta go out for a while. You keep an eye on things here. Oh, and lock this door. I want to keep all the friends I've got.
Sheriff Clay Hollister moved quickly to arrange for Kyle Dodge's safe delivery to the Yuma prison. His plan would take time, but he was determined that Dodge would not escape the law again.
it's just a flesh wound, nothing serious. Well, if it isn't Tombstone's esteemed sheriff. You've come to quiet your nerves with a drink?
I think you could prescribe a better remedy. These gentlemen friends of yours?
Acquaintances, Mr. Boland, Mr. Andrews, Sheriff Hollister.
Howdy, Sheriff.
Glad to meet you. Planning on staying in town long?
Hard to say. Depends on how long it takes to get our business done.
Might take a week, might take a day. Hard to tell.
What is your business, Mr. Boland?
Cattle. Got a ranch down on the New Mexico line.
Oh, well, that's Kyle Dodge's hunting ground, isn't it?
It was until they caught him.
Dodge never bothered us none, though. Here you got him locked up here in Tombstone.
You know, for a couple of fellas that just arrived in town, you're well supplied with information.
I've been telling him about Dodge. Sheriff's a very suspicious man.
Can't say that I blame him.
Say, Sheriff, what are you going to do about Dodge? You going to take him back to Yuma prison yourself?
No, I just sent this off a couple of minutes ago.
Oh. Yuma prison. Request you send officer to take custody of prisoner Kyle Dodge. Will hold until marshal arrives. Signed, Sheriff Clay Hollister, Tombstone Territory. Yeah.
You should have a man here in a couple of days.
A couple of days could be a long time. Anything could happen.
I'll be extra careful.
The sheriff looks like a man that can handle himself.
Yeah. Dead marshal looked like a man that could handle himself. Didn't help him any.
Dodge is going to prison. Nothing is going to prevent him getting there.
Set him up.
November 7, 1882. Kyle Dodge was still safely locked up in the Tombstone jail. His next step, the penitentiary at Yuma. Yet the notorious prisoner appeared to be unconcerned.
Looks good enough to eat, but it's got something. Where's the knife and fork? I can't cut anything with this.
I know.
What's the matter, Hollister? Don't you trust me? I never did like to eat alone. Why don't you hang around?
What for?
I thought we could talk a little. What kind of salary do you make, Hollister?
Enough.
$78 a month and you furnish your own horse. Big deal.
Are you worried about my future?
I hate to see a man miss a good opportunity.
Good opportunity?
How would you like to make $5,000, Hollister?
It's a lot of money.
Man could work all his life and never save that much.
Maybe.
I got plenty of money. All you have to do is let me out of here. $5,000. What do you say, Hollister?
You're wasting your time.
All you'll ever get out of this town is a bullet and a cheap funeral in Boot Hill.
Eat your food. It's getting cold.
Night. As Clay Hollister made his final check of the town, he was doubly alert. He felt certain that Dodge's gang would attempt to release him. They had tried it before, and a U.S. Marshal was dead.
Sheriff Hollister?
Something I can do for you, ma'am?
I'd like to talk to you for a moment, Sheriff.
Come right in. Yes, ma'am?
I want to see Kyle Dodge, please.
I'm sorry. The prisoner isn't allowed any visitors.
Not even his wife? We were married a little over a year ago in Tucson.
I didn't even know he had a wife.
We kept it a secret.
Even to the extent of not wearing a wedding ring?
You don't wear a wedding ring when you don't want people to know you're married.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to doubt your word, but you're going to have to show me some proof that you are married to Dodge.
Oh, would a wedding picture help?
It might.
This proof enough for you?
I guess so.
Put your guns on the desk. Don't do anything we'll both be sorry about, Sheriff. Now, you better take me to see Kyle Dodge. After you. All right, open it.
I told you I wouldn't be here long, Hollister. Better do like the lady says.
Not this time, boy. We better go back into my office and discuss this a little further.
I feel like such an awful fool.
Anytime you're ready, start talking.
My name is Lydia Dawson.
How'd you meet Kyle Dodge?
Up until a few moments ago, I'd never seen him before.
I'm supposed to believe that?
It's the truth. Dodge and his gang raided Colton City 4 months ago. My father ran the bank. They killed him.
Go on.
There's nothing more to say. Except I wanted to pay Dodge back.
You weren't trying to set him free?
No, I wanted to kill him.
In the meantime, you better stay in town.
I'm staying at the hotel. Could I have my gun back, please?
For the time being, it might be better for both of us if I keep it. Dawson?
Good morning, Sheriff.
How long have you known Dr. Buell?
For quite a while. He's from my hometown.
Oh?
Why?
Just curious.
Could I have my gun back now?
I'm sorry, Miss Dawson. I haven't heard from Colton City yet.
You will, Sheriff.
November 11, 1882. A lone rider on the trail outside of Tombstone. The man who rode in answer to Clay Hollister's telegram.
Sheriff Hollister?
That's right.
U.S. Deputy Marshal Kennedy.
Oh, good to meet you. Come on in. You didn't waste any time getting here.
Well, the quicker we get Dodge to Yuma, the better.
This is Harris Clyburn, the editor of the Epitaph.
Hello, Marshal.
How do you do?
You got any credentials on you?
Oh.
Thanks.
I thought sure the marshal's office would send more than one man.
Good enough. Yeah, there are a lot of strangers in town. No telling how many of them are members of Dodge gang.
Well, Dodge is going to Yuma on the stagecoach. All we got to worry about is getting him aboard. I can handle it from there.
When do you want to go?
There's a coach leaving for Yuma in 20 minutes. I can make it.
I'll get him.
Need some help?
No, thanks. All right. Let's go, Dodge.
Where are we going, Hollister?
Out of one jail into another one. I'll turn him over to you at the stagecoach.
Sure.
You'll never make it, Hollister. Two of you won't be enough.
Or maybe three of us will shorten the odds some.
Keep your eyes open. Looks like you've got some company to see you off. Harris, cover Buell and the girl. You can take him now. All right.
Get him!
Well, Dodge, looks like you're not going to be lonely in prison. Your friend here can keep you company.
How did you know Kennedy wasn't a marshal?
I showed Bolin and Andrews a fake telegram saying I'd asked for help. I didn't send it.
So Kennedy had to be working with Dodge. What about those credentials he showed you?
Forged. See, before he died, Marshall warned me to be careful who I trusted. He said that Dodge's men would stop at nothing to set him free.
And that to be good advice.
Yeah. Wish you were alive so I could thank him. You can have this back now, Miss Dawson.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Well, it's good to see you in a pleasant mood for a change, Sheriff.
Yeah, I sort of like the feeling myself.
I was just apologizing to the doctor and Miss Dawson for thinking they could be part of Dodge's gang.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should say a few words in that direction, too.
That isn't necessary, Sheriff. We understand now. I'm grateful it all came out the way it did.
I do have one question, though, Doctor. Just before the shooting started, I saw you open your medical bag. What were you reaching for?
Well, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I was reaching for a sedative. Miss Dawson had a headache.
I thought it might be a gun.
I saw you drinking with Bolin and Andrews. Did you know them before?
I took a slug out of Andrews about 2 years ago in Abilene. I didn't know they were outlaws.
Suspicion can make a man do strange things.
It goes along with a lawman's job. I guess I should try to curb it, though. What's he doing in Tombstone?
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Giving the town its final nightly check.
Who's there?
It's me, Sheriff. Adam Kirby. You kind of scared me. Till I saw who it was.
What's the matter, Adam? Somebody after you?
Man never knows who might have it in for him, Sheriff.
Well, I think I'll turn in. Night, Sheriff.
Oh, Adam, you got a place to stay?
Best place in town. I'm asking for the last time. I want my money back.
You made a deal with me, Baines.
Deal? I don't buy stolen cattle, no matter how cheap. All right, mister. Guess I'll have to go to the sheriff.
If that's the way you feel. You want a refund? Here it is.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. The morning of August 4, 1882. A murder had been committed in Tombstone, and there were no witnesses, no clues.
Hello, Harris.
Morning, Clay. Hear you had a killing last night.
Boy, bad news sure does travel fast.
Always. Anything to go on?
No, not a thing. Not even this.
Sum total of a man's life.
Yeah. I didn't know Baines very well, but he seemed like an honest man, worked hard, kept out of trouble. Looks like Tombstone's lost a good citizen.
The town hasn't many to spare.
You know, editor, you're getting to be a cynic.
Where are you going?
See if I can check up on Baines' movement last night.
Mind if I tag along? Sounds like a story.
Yeah, the same old story.
That's what you're doing. Just got myself a shine.
Excuse me, mister. It was an accident.
That was an accident, too. Now you got something to clean up.
Think you're smart, don't you?
Clean a floor, I'll clean it up with you.
You ought to show more respect. That's no way to treat a real He-Man.
He-Man?
No, you're wrong. Adam here, why, he's done all kinds of things. Come on, Adam, tell us a story about gold hunting in California.
Let me alone, will you?
Oh, now don't be bashful. How about the time you were a scout with Custer at the Little Bighorn?
The way I heard it, Custer and all his men were massacred by the Sioux.
Adam tells it different. He was the only one to escape.
I'm the only man alive that knows what really happened there.
Sounds to me like you're a liar.
Go ahead and have your fun. I know something you fellas don't know nothing about. It just happens I was in that livery stable last night. Now, what do you think about that, huh?
Sounds interesting, Adam. You see anything?
Saw that fella Baines get killed, that's all.
Are you telling the truth, or is this just another one of your stories?
I was right there, bigger than life.
Did you recognize who done the killing?
Never mind the details. You can tell me later down at my office. Let's go.
Well, I just can't walk out and leave my job, Sheriff.
Now, don't worry. You're not going to get fired. You may even get a promotion if you can identify the killer.
Well, there's no hurry. I'll be over and see you later.
Now.
And this fella pulled out a gun and shot Baines. That's all there was to it.
Did you get a look at the killer's face?
It was kind of dark. He had his back to me.
Well, that doesn't help much. We don't know any more now than we did before.
There must be something about the man you can remember, Adam.
The way he was dressed, maybe. His hat. What about his boots? Wasn't there anything at all unusual about him?
No, he was dressed like everybody. Maybe if I heard him talk again, I might be able to recognize his voice.
What was that like?
Kind of deep and husky, like he had a cold. Now, if you're through with me, Sheriff, I'd like to go back to my job.
Adam. By now, everybody in town knows that you saw that killing.
So?
So suppose the killer's still in town. And suppose he thinks you can identify him. What do you think he's going to do?
Why, I don't know. I hadn't given it much thought.
You better. You've put yourself in a dangerous position.
Yeah, I sure have.
What are you going to do, Clay?
Well, we're going to make a tour of Tombstone, looking for a man with a husky voice.
All of Tombstone?
We'll start with the saloons. It's where most of our citizens go to cure a cold. Let's go, Adam.
Oh, that's asking for trouble. No, I'm not going.
Yes, you are. I need you for identification, and you may find you need me.
And if we run across this fella?
You just let me worry about that. Come on.
That man over there. That looks like him. At least from the back it does.
All right. Excuse me, mister. Mind if I ask you a few questions? All depends on what they are. What's troubling you, Sheriff?
Adam?
No, I made a mistake. A big one. When I opened my big mouth.
Sorry to trouble you, mister.
Oh, we've been up and down every street and in and out of every hotel and saloon in Tombstone.
Well, at least we met a lot of nice people we'd never known before.
Maybe the killer left town.
Could be.
Frankly, I can't think of any other place to look.
There's always Charleston.
Charleston.
It's only a couple of hours' ride from here.
If I remember correctly, that community doesn't take too easily to the law, especially the sheriff of Tombstone.
Now, listen. Oh, just a minute, fellas. As far as... Did you see anyone?
Not a sign. At least we won't have to go to Charleston.
Let's get off the streets, huh?
Whoever shot at you is gone now, Adam.
Yeah, but do you think they'll come back? Later, I mean?
They might.
You're gonna stay with me, aren't you?
No. No, you're going to stay with me. I'm placing you in protective custody.
You're locking me up.
That's right.
Well, it's the first time I've ever been put in jail for something I didn't do.
That's a lot better than walking around waiting for somebody to take another shot at you, Adam.
Yeah, but what about my job at the Alhambra? If I don't show up, they'll fire me.
Yeah. All right, you can go on working, but there'll be somebody with you at all times.
Well, I don't like the idea of living in jail.
You'd rather take up residence on Boot Hill?
Well, there's nothing so wrong with jails. As long as they're warm and unlocked and the food's on the county. Let's go.
August 6, 1882. A hidden gunman had made an attempt on the life of Adam Kirby, Clay Hollister's only witness to an unsolved murder. And to date, the killer's identity was still unknown.
Morning, Clay.
Harris?
Say, how's your witness?
Oh, boy, he is really living high at the county's expense. And at mine, I might add. In the past 2 days, he has taken up soap, T-bone steaks, and borrowed $6 from me.
Line of duty, lawman.
Oh, boy. At least Adam's enjoying it. He's the main attraction in there.
Well, you can't blame him. Not really. It's probably the first time anyone's paid attention to him in years.
And he's taken full advantage of it.
How long do you plan to keep him in custody?
Ooh, just till he's safe.
Well, how do you know the killer's still here? He might be in New Mexico by now.
Or right across the street.
Where are you headed for?
Gotta go relieve my deputy. He's wet nursing Adam.
Well, let me know if there's any change.
Yeah.
Nurse.
Everything all right? Well, it is as far as Kirby's concerned, yeah.
I'll take over.
Well, Sheriff Hollister, I want you to meet some friends of mine. Ed Sims, Charlie Howe, Hugh Dawson.
We're just having a drink. Come on, won't you join us?
No, thanks. I think we better get back to the office.
What's the hurry? Nothing's gonna happen to me.
That's what I've been saying. Baines's killer was around, he'd have taken another shot at Adam here before now.
Maybe.
Stop worrying, will you, Hollister?
Adam's not scared.
Of course I'm not scared. Did I ever tell you about the time I was afoot in Indian country? I had my horse shot out right from underneath me.
Some other time, Adam.
Sheriff, why don't you leave him here with us? We'll see to it nothing happens to him.
Yeah, take care of me, Sheriff. Well, I'll see you later, fellas.
I got a horse for you from the livery stable.
Oh, are we going somewhere?
Yeah, Charleston.
Well, why Charleston?
Just too quiet around Tombstone.
Well, can't we go there tomorrow?
This being in protective custody ain't as much fun as I thought it was gonna be.
Kind of quiet here, too.
Yeah, so's a rattlesnake before he strikes.
I'll have another.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Come on.
Afternoon, Sheriff. You look a little nervous, mister. How about a drink?
No, thanks. I'm not thirsty.
You've been thirsty all your life.
I'm not thirsty now.
How about it, Adam? This man anybody you recognize?
I never saw him in my life before.
You're sure you never heard his voice?
He's not the man we're looking for, Sheriff.
You sure? Looks like I'm wasting my time.
Oh, it's been a long day, Sheriff. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'll see you in the morning. Good night.
Good idea. Maybe you can get yourself a room over at the hotel. Or you can go back to the straw. You see, it looks like you're right. Killer's left town, so I'm turning you loose.
Well, you can't do that. It's your duty to protect me.
Seems to me I've done my duty. Not quite sure that you have.
I don't know what you mean.
I think you do. Oh, you better take that. You'll need it.
Hello, Adam. Come on in. Have a drink with us.
No, some other time.
Oh, it's no time like now. Come on in. Hey, you look kind of low. Is there something we can do?
No. No, thanks. Nothing, no.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen you carrying a gun, Adam.
It's not my idea. The sheriff loaned it to me. He said I'd need it to protect myself.
Thought Hollister and his deputies are looking after you.
Not anymore, they ain't. They turned me loose. Not he cares if I get killed.
You stop worrying about it. Nothing's going to happen to you. That's so, Hal?
You stick with us, Adam.
You know, I think I will have a drink with you fellas.
Now you're talking.
Thanks.
Hey, we'll have us a real celebration. We'll make this a night like you never had before.
Now, huh? Hey, what are you leaving for? We're having a good time. Where are you guys going?
You leave it to us. Celebration's just starting.
Oh! We're gonna have a party? Well, good, let's go, huh? Wonderful. Hey, have you boys, listen, I've been around this town a long time. You see those...
I don't like this place. Let's go someplace else.
What are you worried about? We're with you, are we? I'm not worried. It's just I don't like it. I've been there before, that's all.
Get off.
Get off. Get off. Well, listen. There you go. There you go. Dancing now, boy. Dancing now.
I'll get us a bottle.
Never had a better time in my life.
The best part of the party hasn't started yet.
It sure hasn't.
Told you this would be a night like you never had before.
I hate to break up this friendly gathering, Mr. Kirby, but we have some unfinished business. Killing you now suits me just as well as later. Go ahead.
Hello, Adam. Sheriff. You gonna stay around a while?
No, I just dropped in for a minute. I gotta get back to town.
Well, I think I'll go with him.
No, you stay with your friends. Unless, of course, you've got something to tell me. There's one thing, Adam. You stand up for yourself now, I'll be right here.
There's the man you're looking for, Sheriff.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I got a real story to tell him now.
So I said, Clay,
There's the man who murdered Baines. Go on and arrest him. And I'll back you up with my gun. Well, the sheriff's a cautious man. He said, Adam, are you sure that's the man? I said, I'll prove it to you, Sheriff. So I walked right up to this Wallach and I spoke up. And I said, you're a dirty murderer.
And then what happened?
Well, he just stood there. But I knew he was going to go for his gun.
Go on, Adam.
Well, stop interrupting me, will you? You confuse me with the facts. Where was I?
Wallach was just going for his gun.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a silence. Oh, about 5 seconds. And Wallach started to draw. Well, I pulled my gun and...
Go on, Adam. Don't let me interrupt you.
I was just telling him about the fight, Sheriff.
According to Adam here, why, he practically took care of Wallach and that bunch all by himself. Is that true?
Yeah, that's just how it happened. Go on, Adam. Tell your story.
Well, like I said, I pulled my gun just a split second before the sheriff. And just as cool as you please.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone